Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. So in this video, what we're going to look at is actually, I have explained two of my quantum numbers. So in this video, we're going to continue to explain the magnetic quantum number M and the electron spin quantum number S. And besides that, we're going to sketch the 3D shapes of S, P and the orbital. In the last video, we have learned yang L equal to 0 S, L equal to 1 P, L equal to 2 D. Okay, this video, we're going to learn the 3D shapes as well. Okay, so on your notes, it will be on page 13. Now, let's look for the magnetic quantum number, which is your M. Okay, so M ni, another name for it, atau magnetic quantum number ni, sometimes it is called as orbital. Contohnya orbital lah kat sini. Okay, so here, magnetic quantum number M, it actually determine the orientation in space of the electron cloud, and the possible values of M depend on the value of L. Okay, so tadi kita kalau belajar, kalau apa ni, L depends on N. Yang M ni pula depends on L. So tu nasi lemak masak sambal ni kan. And LM ni memang sangat related to each other. Okay. So contohnya kita tengok dekat sini. When L equal to 0, 1, 2. Okay. So when L equal to 0. Yang ini Miss nak just based on the previous notes ni kan. Here kita ada L. When L equal to 0 dia adalah S. L equal to 1 dia P. L equal to 2 dia adalah D. Okay. So what about the M dia? M dia is from negative L until lah jadi positive L. Okay, so what does it mean? So tapi kat sini dia jadi, because this value is only 0. So kat sini tu dia dah 0. 0. Mana ada negative 0, 0, positive 0. Macam nanti kena marah dengan cikgu matematik pun tu. Okay, so your M is only 0. Okay, how about number of orientation? Okay, so berapa value dia? So even though the value is 0, tapi dia ada satu value kan. Value dia 0. Tapi dia ada satu je lah. So the number of orientation is 1. Okay, so kalau tak faham, tak apa. Kita tengok next dia. So, kalau L is equal to 1, what is actually M? Okay, remember it started from negative L until lah positive L. So dia akan jadi negative 1, 0, positive 1. Okay, so number of orientation. Berapa value dia? 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 values. Okay, next one. When L equal to 2, our D tu kan, our D shape which is clover leaf. Okay, so they start from negative 2 until positive 2. So dia jadi negative 2, negative 1, 0, positive 1, positive 2. Okay, how much is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually number of orientation in of orbital is actually 5. So far so good. Rasanya hopefully good lah. Okay, so M ni depends on L. Lepas tu number of orientation ni tengoklah berapa value dia. So how does it work? It's actually, contohnya we know that L equal to 0 dia adalah S orbital kan. So kalau yang S ni, for the S orbital ni maknanya there's only one possibility. Okay, so contohnya kat sini adalah drawing of 3D kan. Okay, so let's draw it together. Sebab learning outcome kata draw the 3D shapes of this orbital. Okay, so first and foremost, draw your axis. It must have 3. So yang ini Miss dah lukis awal-awal. Okay, so this one. Okay, so we do have our 3 axis. X, Y and Z. So tengoklah sebenarnya kat mana ke mana buat X, Y, Z pun tak kisah. Okay, so ada yang apa ni, horizontal, vertical, and then yang penting yang ni out ataupun out of axis. So label lah yang mana-mana, but make sure mesti ada X, Y and Z. Okay, so for the S orbital, as we have known, it is actually spherical shape. So how we going to draw it? So let's draw it together. So here kita ada, kalau S orbital, spherical shape. So okay. So draw lah your spherical shape, and then after that you have to shade it. Okay, so shade lah dia. Okay, and then labelkan dia adalah S orbital. S orbital. Okay. So that's the first one. Nanti if the question specifically kata 1S, 2S, 3S, we have to specific lah. Ini is S orbital. So kita tengok kat sini, number of orientation of orbital is only 1. So here pun only one possibility lah. Okay, next one is actually when L equal to 1, which is your P. Your P, which is a dumbbell shape. We have 3, number of orientation of orbital, there 3. So it means that we have 3 possibility. Okay, again, Tada. Okay, maknanya ada 3 possibility. Tapi right now, remember the shape for the p orbital or L equal to 1 is actually a dumbbell shape. Okay, so first one, dia adalah px orbital. So, tapi kalau contohnya kamu, if you don't follow my axis, make sure tengok axis kamu betul-betul. So, here my x-axis is here. So, how I'm gonna draw my px? My dumbbell tu, tak boleh lah di sini. This is my y-axis. Can't be here as well. So, my x-axis is this one. So, draw lah my x-axis. So, here my x-axis. Dumbbell shape. Lepas tu, you have to shade it around. Label lah px. Px boleh, px orbital pun boleh. Label lah. Okay, px. Okay, then it's py. So, masih lagi the same shape, your your dumbbell shape. But then this time around, pada y-axis. So, here is my y-axis. So, again, for example, if you don't want to follow my axis here, it's just you have to make sure lah where is y, x, y, and z. Mana-mana pun boleh. The arrangement tak kisah. But make sure your shape is on that correct axis, specific axis. So, this is py. Last but not least is pz. So, pz, z-axis here. So, here. Okay, so this is your pz orbital. Okay, so that's the example for when L equal to 1 or your p orbital, we have 3 orientation. Okay, next we're going to look at actually when L equal to 2, which is your d orbital, clover leaf shape. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 possibility. Okay, so for the 5 possibility, dxy, dxz, dyz, dx squared minus y squared, dz squared. Okay, for this time around, I don't want you to draw the axis first. Sebenarnya, if you look, ada certain video, ada memang ada lecturer ataupun ada certain videos yang teach you based on draw the axis first, then you draw the shape. Tapi I believe this would be easier lah. I hope this would be easier for you to understand. Okay. So, as we have learned before, for the d orbital, the shape is clover leaf. So, what I'm going to do first is actually I'm going to draw the clover leaf shape. Okay, clover leaf shape. Pas pula paste. Okay, tengoklah kalau nak buat macam ni boleh. Nak buat jadi yang, macam ni. Clover leaf nak buat macam nampak macam ni. Macam nampak lama-lama pun cantik juga. Okay, macam drawing class sekejap. Okay, so this is my D shape. Copy. Okay. dxy, dxz, dyz. Okay, so first I'm gonna draw for this case dulu ya. Okay. So first draw lah your clover ni. So maknanya kamu kira draw 4 balloon yang kecil yang comel. 1, 2, 3, 4 macam tu. Okay. So for the dxy, so this is actually the drawing for the orbital yang ini, dxy, dxz ni. Tulislah dekat sini dxy, dxz, dyz is yang this one between the axis. The orbital is between the axis. So, what does it mean? Okay, so contohnya, this is dxy. So, my axis, okay, you still remember yang from previously kita buat yang ini. Axis kita macam ni kan? Okay, yang ni x, y, z, tak kisahlah macam ni pun. Okay, so right now what I'm gonna do is draw the axis between the axis dulu. Okay, so contohnya dekat sini I have my ni ada ni contohnya ada my axis dua ni. Okay, between the axis itself. Okay, cantiklah sangat. Okay, so sekarang ni dxy, we mention about the orbital itself ni is between the axis. Okay, between the axis of what? X dengan y. So, kat sini, label lah sini. Here is x, here is y. Okay, but remember it's about 3D shape. So, kena ada z-axis. Z-axis nak letak mana pula? So, letaklah x-axis kat sini. So, this is z, sorry. So, kalau kamu nak draw, tak perlu pun colour yang lain-lain. Colour yang sama pun tak apa. Next, what I'm gonna do is actually, kita kenalah Sheetkan dia. So this is actually our dxy. Okay. Next, dxz. Remember, the loop is between the axis itself. So, ni draw tengah-tengah ni. Okay. Okay, cantik pun. Okay. So, kat sini, tengah-tengah lagi. Okay. So, again, for these three cases, the loop is between the axis. So, ni X dengan Z kan? So, label lah sini. Sini X, sini Z. Okay, how about another axis? Gonna pass through the loop. So, this will be our y-axis. Ini will be y. Jangan lupa. Sheetkan dia. dxz. Okay. Next is dyz. Okay, so dyz. So, maknanya kita draw dulu axis between the loop tu. Satu here. Satu here. Okay. So, what is actually the axis? Y and Z. So, Y, Z. So, apa lagi satu loop yang have to pass through is actually our X. Axis kita ni. X. Lepas tu, labelkan dia. Sheetkan dia. So, this is D, Y, Z. So, that is for the drawing for these three cases. Okay, so three cases. Okay, next we're going to look for the case dx squared minus y squared dengan dz squared. Okay, for the dx squared minus y squared and dz squared is a bit different. Okay, so yang tadi between this, yang apa ni, where there is no to the power of 2 pada huruf dia ni, is actually between the axis. Okay, kalau dx squared minus y squared as well as dz squared is actually on the axis itself. Ini kita draw on the axis. Okay. So, what does it mean? So, contohnya dx squared minus y squared. So, contohnya I'm going to draw it again. Okay. So, dia on the axis itself. Tadi kita in between kan? Yang ini dia line pula. So, contohnya dekat sini. So, what will happen here? So, dekat sini on the axis. The loop tu is on the axis. Loop tu, so kita draw lah kat axis je. So, here satu. Here's one. Nak buat ke bawah boleh. Nak buat arrow di atas pun boleh. Buat sini lah pula. Okay. So, what is actually our axis here? Sebab remember, x squared minus y squared on the axis. So, here, it must be x. It must be y. Okay. So, how about another one? Yang z tu, yang kali ni, dia between the axis. Don't forget, even tu ada lagi satu axis kan, kena lukis lah. So, yang ini colour biru So, draw lah lagi satu. Misal buat sini lah. Biarlah sini. Sangat. So, contohnya dekat sini. So, here is my Z. Okay, don't forget to shade it. So, we call it as dx squared minus y squared. Okay, so it's a bit different where for this case, it's actually the orbital is on the axis itself. Okay, so last but not least, dz squared. Dz squared ni ada lain sikit tau. Okay, so contohnya, okay, kamu buat satu, dia macam dumbbell macam ni kan. Buat satu shape. Ni buat satu shape dulu. Okay, buatlah macam dumbbell shape ni. Okay, lepas tu draw lah the axis. So, draw the axis ni is actually on our, kali ni adalah Z. Okay, Z axis. Okay, so what happen next is actually kita nak draw as if ada donutnya wrap dalam dumbbell tu. So, draw lah dia macam ni. Macam ni, apa tu lorekkan dia ni Dia macam, it's actually kalau kamu Google dia ada 3D shape tu lah, macam donut dia lah Lepas tu, shapekan dia, jangan lupa. Okay. Apa lagi jangan lupa? The axis itself. So, kalau Z dekat sini, buatlah. Nak buat apa? Sini Y, sini X. Mana-mana pun boleh. So, for example, sini Y. So, sini jadilah X. Okay, so this is what we call dz square. Okay. So this is actually the shape for your d orbital. So we have looked at for the cases of s, p and d orbital. It depends very much on m. So how many m? That is the possible orientation lah. Kalau S1, kalau P ada 3, PX, PY, PZ. Kalau D ada 5, DXY, XZ, YZ, DX squared minus Y squared, DZ squared. Then remember, kalau yang D axis ni, kalau yang there's no squared to the letter itself, it's actually between the axis. If there's the squared on the letter, it's actually on the axis itself. Okay, so that's the drawing and that the end of M. Okay, last but not least, what we're going to look at is actually electron spin quantum number S. So kira that's the last one. Okay, so we have learned yang NLMS kan, NLMS. S ni dia independent sikit. Macam M ni depends on L ni depends on N kan. Tapi S ni independent sikit. It actually determine the direction of spinning motion and it's either clockwise ataupun anti-clockwise. So, the value could only be positive half ataupun negative half. Itu saja untuk S. Okay, macam tu je Miss. Itulah. Tapi, at the end here, yang ini Miss just nak a bit of recap. Summarizekan NLMS. Okay, so remember, N is actually our shell. L is actually our subshell. Where it must be smaller than our N. So, when N equal to 0, our L could be, when N equal to 1, L could be 0. Must be smaller. Kalau ada 1 tak boleh lah. When N equal to 2, L dia boleh jadi 0 dengan muat. Kalau N equal to 3, dia boleh jadi 0, 1, 2. 3 tak boleh because L cannot be equal to N. It must be smaller. Okay. Orbital notation is actually based on N dengan L. Tapi L ni mesti simbol kita. Symbol. Okay. So dalam case ni, if you remember, when L equal to 1, L equal to 0, dia adalah S. Okay, tapi N dia ni, so dia jadi 1S. So kat sini jadi 1S. Kalau yang ini jadi 2S. Sebab when L equal to 0, dia adalah S orbital. Spherical shape. Kalau L equal to 1, dia adalah P orbital. Ataupun dumbbell shape. So kat sini jadi 2P. So again, the orbital notation depends on our N dulu. Yang L tu must depend on the symbol lah. Bukan pada nombor ni. Bukan 30 dia tengok simbol dia. L equal to 0 is S. L equal to 1 P. L equal to 2 dia adalah D. Okay. Next. M. M is what we call our orbital. It depends on L. So contohnya, when L is equal to 0, M kita pun is equal to 0. How many number of orbital? 1. So kita tengok kat sini balik. Yang ini does not depend on N, dia depend pada L sahaja. So dekat sini, kalau even though dia adalah N equal to 2, L dia 0, so masih lagi sama M0, number of orbital pun 1. Ini Miss nak tengok yang 0 ni juga, 3S. So orbital ni memang depends on L sahaja. Okay, so dia jadi sini 0, so sini jadi 1. Again, your M only depends on your L. So kalau dia 0, memang 0 sahaja and 1. Memang kalau S ataupun S orbital memang satu possibility sahaja. When L is equal to 1, so our M it could be, so contoh dekat sini when L equal to 1, M kita could be negative 1, 0, positive 1. So how many number of orbital? 1, 2, 3. So 3. The same goes here. So and N equal to 3, L equal to 1. Masih lagi our M depend on our L. So jadi negative 1, 0, positive 1. So, how many number of orbital? 1, 2, 3. So, 3. Okay, remember, when L equal to 1, it's actually a P orbital. There are 3 possibilities. Px, Py, Pz. Last but not least is actually when L equal to 2. Okay, so M kita depends on L. It could be negative 2, negative 1, 0, positive 1, positive 1, positive 2. So, how many number of orbital? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, we have 5 here. Okay. So, number 5 here. So, dekat sini. Number of orbital kat sini kita tengok DXY, DXZ. Ni, we do have 5. Okay. So, how about the number of electron? So, the number of electron ni sebenarnya number of orbital times 2. Okay. So, dekat sini 1 kan? So, dekat sini dia jadi Skala ni pula lah. 2. So, yang ini 1, number of orbital kita times 2. 2. Here, number of orbital kita 3 times 2, 6. Yang ini jadi 2, 6, 10. Okay, so kenapa times 2? Okay, sebab for each orbital ni ada 2 elektron, whether it positive half ataupun negative half. So, itulah dia punya possibility. That's the end. Okay, kalau you unsure tak apa, nanti kita akan tengok lagi. Yang first time dia memang macam, benda ni. Okay, yang ini pun, yang ini kalau kamu tengok kan, ini is actually when n equal to 1, dia adalah, the number is actually 2. When n equal to 2, bila kita tambahkan dia 8. When n equal to 3, kita tambahkan 18. If you still remember during SPM, kita belajar dulu yang electronic configuration kan. 2-8-18. Macam ni lah. Sebab bila first shell, maximum number electron 2. Second shell, maximum number dia 8. Yang n equal to 3, maximum dia 18. Okay. So, itu sahaja summary for NLMS. Next, kita akan tengok example. No worries.